Ms Legalista here, aka Attorney Sheila. The judge has issued his order, and it looks like this is not a good thing for Samantha Markle. If you have a half sibling, can you still call yourself an only child? Well, we're going to hear exactly what the judge had to say.
Yeah.
I did a video a while back with Samantha Markle, who is Meghan Markle's half sibling. Samantha was suing her sister for defamation, stating, well, there was a book and then there was a CBS interview, and there was just some of these things that she was saying out in the press that Samantha Markle considered to be ruining her reputation, her job, and just was defamatory and not true. Well, Meghan Markle said, I'm going to have none of it. I'm actually going to file a motion to dismiss. And we now have the results of that. It's basically gone. This lawsuit is gone. Doesn't mean Samantha Markle can't come back into court on some of the issues if she fixes her complaint. But let's talk about this half sibling issue. I want to first show you the order, and then we're going to go to the census website because half sibling, we got to figure out what the judge is talking about when the judge says, yes, Samantha, even though you are her half sibling, she can call herself an only child. I know it sounds contradictory. I know. Florida, as you see, Samantha Markle was the plaintiff, Meghan Markle was the defendant. And it said here, for the reasons set forth below, the court will grant the motion to dismiss. Plaintiff's defamation claims based on the book will be dismissed with prejudice, meaning she can't bring that one back. Her remaining claims will be dismissed without prejudice, meaning she can amend her complaint. I think the judge gave her 14 days to do that. And if she doesn't do it, well, I think she's going to be out of luck on that. But I'm actually going to scroll down here to page 16, I think it is where the judge starts to talk about the CBS interview. All right, here we have the CBS interview. Plaintiffs' remaining 3 claims are based on statements from defendants' interview with Oprah Winfrey. The court will address each one in turn. Samantha Markle, your half sister on your father's side, has written a supposedly tell-all book about you. What is your relationship with her? Defendant says, I think it would be very hard to tell all when you don't know me. And this is a very different situation than my dad, right? When you talk about betrayal, betrayal comes from someone that you have a relationship with, right? I don't feel comfortable talking about people that I really don't know. But I grew up as an only child, which everyone who grew up around me knows. And I wished I'd had siblings. I would have loved to have had siblings. The complaint, that's me going too far. The complaint alleges that defendant falsely said she was an only child. Defendant contends that she, in fact, said she grew up as an only child, that this statement is protected opinion, and that is how she feels about her own childhood is not falsifiable and therefore not actionable. So she's stating, this is Meghan Markle, is stating that's how I felt like I was growing up as a child, felt like I was an only child. It says plaintiff responds to this statement, Samantha responds to this statement. Plaintiff responds that this statement was one of fact and that it made it apparent that she was an opportunist of the worst kind. Statements that cannot reasonably be interpreted as stating actual facts about an individual cannot support a cause of action. Here's the important part. Although pure opinions are protected, mixed expressions of opinion are not. So what was Meghan actually saying? Well, here's the test. The test for determining whether statements are protected opinions is whether the statements are capable of being proved false. Well, doesn't it sound like we can prove false that she really has a half sibling? But remember, what she said was, What she said was, let's go back up and look at this. Whoops. What she said was, but I grew up as an only child. So, what does that mean to grow up as an only child? Okay, so the court says in determining the basic question of whether certain language is defamatory, the words used are not to be construed or taken in their mildest or most grievous sense, but should be construed as the common mind would understand it. As the common mind would understand it. That's the test. As the common mind would understand it. So, what do you think the common mind, when you hear Meghan Markle say, I grew up as an only child? What does that mean? I want to head over to the US Census website because I want to talk about half siblings for a minute and how people sort of define that, because it really and truly does vary among different people. People look at these relationships from a personal standpoint. There's no sort of, what do we want to say, definition that everybody follows when they're talking about this, right? So we're going to look at U.S. Census Bureau's website here and what this says. This is more children live with half siblings than previously thought. 1 in 6 children live with a half sibling under 18. Now, this was a couple of years ago. It says it's not uncommon for children to live with siblings who share just one biological parent. In fact, 1 in 6 children under 18 live with a half sibling, according to U.S. Census Bureau estimates. But let's scroll down here to where they talk about what this actually means. I want to go to this section here where it talks about changes, I guess, in the way people think about this. In previous panels, a respondent identified how each person is related to a single person in the household. Often, respondents may not think of sibling relationships in specific demographic terms, meaning you don't walk around every day, some people, saying, this is my half sister, this is my half brother. This says, in their day-to-day lives, people define family relationships not just by technical terms, but also based on personal and shared histories. So if you think this through, a person or siblings who have a personal and shared history, they're probably going to be more likely to just refer to each other as siblings because they're growing up in the household together. They celebrate birthdays and other milestones together. They get up in the morning and together. They're brushing their teeth. They're eating dinner. The parents are picking them up and taking them places. Their lives are intertwined in such a way that they don't see this sort of demographic line of half sibling. So that's what it's talking about. Respondents may not think of half sibling relationships in specific demographic terms. In their day-to-day lives, people define family relationships not just by technical terms, but also by those personal and shared histories. It says survey respondents may have misidentified half siblings in their household as biological full siblings, even though they shared only one biological parent. This is more likely to happen when siblings are under the age of 18 and share daily routines and developmental milestones. What did I just say? When you grow up in this household together, you're getting ready for school in the morning together, walking to the bus stop, or being dropped off by parents. You're coming home, you're getting picked up. Sometimes you're going to this one's piano practice and to that one's football practice. You're having dinner together. You're having to go through whatever consequences you might go through because you got in trouble at school or something. But you grow up having that relationship together. And so when a census survey comes along and somebody has to fill that out, sometimes people aren't thinking through the demographical information. They aren't looking at those lines. So it sounds like this is what this was like for Meghan. Samantha is over here saying, but we are half siblings. How can you say you grew up as an only child? And Meghan is thinking, but I did grow up as an only child, because in her mind, she's not remembering a shared personal history, mornings, getting up together. And Samantha is somewhat older, more older. She's more older. She's older than Meghan. And so even that creates some distance in and of itself, because they're going to be at different places in their life cycle. Megan's waking up and going to school and being raised by her mom because her parents weren't together after a while. And so in her mind, it's just like her and her mom. And she's feeling like that's how she grew up, as an only child. And that's what the court is recognizing here. So even though we're thinking, hey, but there is this blood relationship, isn't it a fact, though? Isn't it a fact that she had a half sibling? But what they're saying is, look at the way she stated it. It might be different if she said something like, I have no biological siblings. That might be different, but that's not what she said. What she said was, I grew up as an only child. That's how I came along. That's how I came to adulthood. You know, she's not talking about the blood relationship or the biological relationship here. And I think that's what the court is looking at. So I don't know how many of you have half siblings. I know plenty of people with half siblings, and they never call each other half siblings when they grow up in the same household. It's just, that's my brother. They literally say, that's my brother, that's my sister. And I just never hear this sort of half thing, because they share personal histories together. And it really does matter. There's, you know, a bond there that's created. So let me know in the comments if this makes any sense to you, if you're understanding this. And this is not one of those things that Samantha's going to be able to fight. She can try to fight the holding on that one. I don't think it's going to go very far, though. I think that the way that Meghan Markle made that statement, like I said before, it was her talking about her own opinion about how she grew up, what she thought about it. I don't think there's any way around Samantha being able to say, but that's not true. So she can try to fight it. She can try to fight it. I don't know how far she's going to get with that. So let me know in the comments if this makes any sense to you. If you have siblings, and if you're saying to yourself, yeah, that totally makes sense to me. I can see how she might have a half sibling that she didn't grow up with, and so therefore she sees herself as an only child. So if you're understanding this outcome from the court, this order, this decision, then go ahead and give the video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Peace.